Hey everyone, welcome back to the 1% Shift episode on the Live Life Balance podcast. I am so excited to be bringing you this mini series because it was inspired by you. You guys have asked me for swaps, you've asked me for tips, you've asked me for tools, you've asked now what, how do I do this, where do I start? So I thought each week I would do one short episode on one particular topic, and I would do just that. I would give you the tips and tools that you need, the swaps and the things that you need to do in order to make those shifts in that particular area to help you to keep going on your journey to create better health and wellness for yourself. And who knows, you might even pick up a habit or two that could become one of your non-negotiables. So let's go explore this week's topic and see what we can find. Hey everyone, welcome back to the 1% Shift episode on the Live Life Balance podcast. I'm your host, Robin, and today we're going to be diving into the topic of boundaries. And I wanted to talk about this because when we're talking about implementing new things into our life to create better health and wellness, boundaries are super important. And I think that is an area in which most people can work on. So I wanted to break it down to make it a little bit easier. Number one, the first boundary we're going to talk about is a time boundary. So setting aside specific time for self-care activities, exercise, and relaxation can help prioritize your wellness and prevent burnout. And you might be saying, well, how do I do that when I don't have any time? So what I'm going to suggest as an example is time blocking, which is where you open up your calendar and however many days a week you want to implement something new, you are actually blocking that time off just like if you had an appointment. Because you have an appointment with yourself. And when you show up for yourself, number one, you're telling and showing yourself that you're important. And number two, you're also showing and telling other people that you prioritize your wellness so that you can show up in your best version. So again, look at your calendar. Where can you block this time off? It will look different for everybody, so there's no particular, day time. It's whatever works best for you. But by being intentional and setting aside that time, you're going to see a lot of more space and time open up for you to implement things that you once thought you didn't have enough time for. The second one is social boundaries. So establishing those boundaries with your friends, with your family, with your colleagues to ensure that you have time for yourself and that you can maintain healthy relationships with them, because then you're showing up as your best version, and you're also creating stress reduction. So what this might look like is in my house, my family knows that in the morning, my morning time, my 20 minutes that I take to read my affirmations, to dive deep, to journal, whatever it is I choose to do in that 20, 30 minute time, they know that that's my time. So they're not going to come in and ask me to do X, Y, and Z for them. They're not going to ask me, where is something? They know that that's my specific time. And I think it's important that they see you doing that so that you're modeling for them how to do it as well. And the third one, which everybody can work on, is digital boundaries. So limiting that screen time, setting boundaries around your work-related emails or social media use, and creating tech-free zones in your home. All of these things can not only improve your mental well-being, but it also improves your quality of sleep, which is so important when we are healing from the inside out. So, limiting screen time. Some of you might not even know how much screen time you use. So look on your phone, check your apps. How much time have you used, in a complete day? And then how much time did you spend on each app? Then I would encourage you to ask yourself this question. If you were on, I'm just going to randomly pick, TikTok. If you were scrolling on TikTok for an hour and 20 minutes today, what did you take away that you can implement that will create better health and wellness for yourself? If you cannot answer that, then you may want to search up something different. You may want to spend less time, whatever it might be. But I know 100% that our brains are not meant to scroll, and be able to take away a lot of information. So again, look at those screen time numbers and see if you can adjust them a little bit. The second thing is work-related emails. We live in a society that we are always on. People can DM you, they can ping you, they can Voxer you, they can send you an email, a text, they can call you, and the list goes on and on and on. So you're able to be reached in a multitude of ways. And we feel this pressure that we have to look in all these places to see where we might be missing something. So I would say with your work email, to put a boundary up, I would let your colleagues know that you check your emails at this time, this time, and this time. And I'd even put it in the footer of your email. If I don't get back to you, I check my emails at these particular times. So number one, you're setting that boundary for yourself, but you're also letting them be aware of what their expectations should be as far as a response. Also making the tech-free zones at home. So when you're eating dinner, there should be no phones at your table, if that is something you want to implement. For us, we ebb and flow. So I'm not going to say we're perfect, but we ebb and flow in that area. But I know when we don't have our phones at the table, we have better intentional conversations. We're all present. We're able to be thankful, in a more thankful state for our food. We can talk about how it tastes, feels. We're not rushing through. We are actually, being present while we're eating. And I think it's so important also when you have dinner times with your friends and your extended family that the phones stay away, because it does impede on the relationships that you are building with those people when all you're doing is checking your phone. So those are 3 areas in which boundaries can be set, which is time, social, and digital. I encourage you this week to pick one of those areas and kind of do housekeeping, decluttering, seeing what's going on in one of those particular, or all of the areas if you have time. And then where can you make some shifts? I would love to hear where you can make shifts and where you do make shifts and kind of how that feels. If you know somebody that this would resonate with, please share this episode with them, because the more people that hear it, the more wellness that we're sharing and spreading, the better world that we'll be living in. And also, if you enjoyed this episode, please rate and review, because that is how this episode and my podcast is seen more often. And in this world of playing the game in the tech world, right? I would love for more people to have access to this information so that they can create the best wellness for themselves, for their future self. I hope you guys have a great week. Love to you all. And if you want to send me an email or a DM and let me know what your 1% shift is, I would always love to hear from you. Have a great day. I hope that you enjoyed that episode and that you can see yourself taking away 1% this week. Stay tuned for more practical tips and nourishing your body and your mind. Until next time, of course, take care, make those healthy swaps, and know that I'm here cheering you on, walking beside you on your journey. Love you guys, and we'll talk soon.